They said Yamaha would never bend, that the inline-4 was holy, untouchable, their gospel since the dawn of MotoGP. And yet, here we are. The factory that once ruled with Rossi's grace and Lorenzo's precision now stands on the gallows, praying one last experiment saves them. On Monday, the V4 rolls out. Not a rumor, not a sketch on a whiteboard. A real bike, built in desperation, unleashed under the glare of stopwatches and rivals who want nothing more than to see Yamaha die. This isn't just a test, it's a crucifixion. Fabio Quartararo has already whispered its secrets in Barcelona's shadows, and the whispers were clear. Yamaha has abandoned its religion. The question isn't whether the bike runs, it's whether this final bullet can kill the drought or ricochet back and bury Yamaha for good. Yamaha's V4 test, the last bullet in the chamber. The context. Yamaha on its knees. Let's not sugarcoat this. Yamaha has been drowning for years. Since 2017, when Maverick Vinales teased the world with early wins and then fell into a pit of confusion, the M1 has been a shadow of its former self. Rossi could not save it. Vinales bailed, Morbidelli faded, and Quartararo, once the crown jewel, has been left swinging a knife in a gunfight against Ducati's arsenal of V4 missiles. Yamaha has not won consistently since Fabio's 2021 title run, and every year since has been an exercise in excuses, promises, and heartbreak. Now comes the V4, the project Yamaha swore it would never build. Inline-4 purity was their religion. Smooth, balanced, high corner speed, that was the M1 philosophy. But the world shifted. Ducati showed the future, Aprilia followed, KTM joined the bloodbath. Even Honda, broken as it is, still gambles on the V4 concept. Yamaha? Stuck. So here's the real question. Is this V4 their savior, or just a new way to fail? Barcelona. The rumor of Quartararo's secret ride whispers out of Catalunya say Fabio Quartararo already touched the beast in Barcelona during a private rain-hit test. No official confirmation, but the way Fabio spoke afterward, it smelled like a man who had seen the future. He said, "It's really important to follow one direction." Translation? The inline is dead, and the V4 is the way. Yamaha hasn't confirmed, but when your number one rider is pushing that hard, you know the writing's on the wall. Was Fabio quick? No lap times leaked, but insiders claim his face told the story. Relief mixed with disbelief. Finally, a Yamaha with grunt, one that doesn't get vaporized on straights. The secret Barcelona whispers are brutal. Quartararo may have been faster in damp conditions on the V4 than on the inline M1. And that's where the hope and danger lives. If Fabio believes, Yamaha can drag itself back. If Fabio is wrong, this project buries them deeper. Misano wildcard, the early reveal. Yamaha planned to debut the V4 in Motegi. Safe territory, their home turf, but they pulled the trigger early. Misano. Why? Simple. Desperation. When a manufacturer moves up a timeline, it's either because they found gold or because the house is burning down. Augusto Fernandez will wildcard it. Alex Rins joked, "I hope he finishes in front of us." Funny, yes, but also loaded. If Yamaha's test mule embarrasses the full-time M1s, it's not just a step forward, it's an execution. Will Fernandez beat the inline riders? If he does, Yamaha faces the harshest question. What do we even do with the M1 anymore? The technical war, inline versus V4. Let's break this down with facts. Inline 4, M1 DNA. Smooth power delivery, high corner speed, easier handling, friendlier for riders. Weak top speed, struggles with acceleration. Dead in drag races against Ducati and KTM. V4, Ducati, Aprilia/KTM/Honda, brutal acceleration, higher top speed, explosive braking stability, demands aggression from riders, harder to ride, but deadlier when mastered. Yamaha's been watching Ducati rip its heart out every Sunday. The math is clear. Inline 4 philosophy is romance, V4 is survival. But here's the dagger. Building a V4 is not just bolting cylinders in a V shape. It's an entirely new philosophy. Chassis balance, electronics, ride height devices, aero packages. Yamaha is a decade late to this war. Ducati has data from 2015 onward, KTM from 2017, Aprilia from 2020. Yamaha, they're starting from scratch in 2025. So ask yourself, can Yamaha compress 10 years of V4 evolution into 18 months? Quartararo, the last believer. Fabio is the hinge on which Yamaha swings. He's been screaming for power, and Yamaha finally listened. His contract extension was a hostage deal. He only stayed because Yamaha promised him the V4 project. If this bike fails, he walks. And if Fabio walks, Yamaha is not just behind, it's irrelevant. He said after Barcelona, it's really important for them to follow one direction. That's desperation talking. He's begging Yamaha not to split their focus. If they keep 1 foot in the inline past and 1 foot in the V4 future, they're dead. So the bigger question is, will Yamaha have the guts to kill their baby, the inline 4, forever? The rivals, a brutal benchmark. Ducati is not slowing down. Aprilia is hunting podiums every weekend. KTM bleeds raw aggression with Binder and Acosta. Even Honda, broken and humiliated, is throwing wild concepts at the wall. So here's the knife twist. Even if Yamaha's V4 works, it has to leapfrog not just one rival, but 4. The Ducati army has 8 bikes on the grid, each feeding data into the Borgo Panigale hive mind. How does one Yamaha prototype compete with that? Is the V4 good enough to make Fabio a title contender in 2026, or will it only make him less miserable? Sentiment and brutality, Yamaha's identity crisis. Here's the sentimental truth. Yamaha fans don't want a V4. They want the M1 magic, the Rossi-era flow, the Lorenzo-era smoothness, the 2019 Quartararo sparkle. But the sport has changed. MotoGP is no longer about artistry in corners. It's about raw brutality in acceleration zones. So Yamaha faces an existential crisis. Do they stay romantic and die, or go brutal and maybe survive? Every lap at Misano will carry that weight. Every split time will not just be numbers, they'll be the measure of Yamaha's soul. Monday test, the crucifixion. After the race weekend, Monday at Misano is when the truth hits. Quartararo, Rins, and probably even test riders will swing a leg over the V4. The stopwatch will tell the tale Yamaha cannot hide. If Fabio matches Ducati times, the paddock will shift. If Fabio still gets smoked, Yamaha has nowhere to hide. So, let's ask it straight. Will Monday mark the rebirth of Yamaha or the final funeral of its legacy? Closing bloodline. This V4 is Yamaha's last bullet. No excuses, no delays, no second chances. They waited too long, clung to old philosophy too tight. Now they gamble everything on a machine still unproven, still raw, still whispered about in half-truths. The fans want redemption. The riders want speed. The factory wants survival. The rivals? They want Yamaha to fail, because a weak Yamaha is one less enemy. So here's the brutal final question. Will the Yamaha V4 be the sword that ends the drought, or the knife Yamaha uses to cut its own throat?